Right, hello everyone. So I think this will be the participants for tonight. So we will get started. Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone to this CET 14.5 QA testing guide. Good day to everyone. So my name is Yi Heng. So I am a QA analyst. I based in the Linköping office, our Sweden office. So for today, we'll have two hosts in this webinar. So me, myself, and my colleague, Brian.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian, QA analyst, but I'm based in KL, the Malaysia office. So today we will bring you the testing focus areas for CT 14.5. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Back to you, Yiheng.
All right. Yeah, so I will start with my part of the testing guard, and then I'll pass to Brian to finish with the rest. Yeah, so for Q&A session, we'll have it at the end of the presentation. Or if you have anything to ask, you can feel free to leave your questions in the chat window, and we will answer it for you later. Yep. So let's move on. Yep. So before I start going through with the changes in 14.5, so do take note on this. So please check with your developers if they have done the migration changes on the extensions before you start testing. Okay, so now let's proceed with the testing guide. So first, I will start with the changes or any bug fixes on the extensions. So for this one, I have changes on file report related issues and also drawing tools related, paper space related, and also bill of materials. So I will start with the first one, which is related to the file export. So this one deals with the OBJ file format. Yeah, so developers had made a fix specifically for the OBJ file format export. So previously, there are issues with the export having wrong normals and inaccurate vertices. So this also causes the layers to have inaccurate colors when the OBJ models is worked on in the model lab and then exported it back into CET. Yeah, so this changes or this fix will benefit mostly or mainly to the catalog specialists as they work on the import export of the OBJ models using the model lab. Yeah, so as you can see from the screenshot, the two pictures that we have there. So on the left side, you can see before the fix, some of the cards, I believe, appeared in the wrong color. They are, it looks like they appear under a shadow. Yeah. Then after the fix on the right hand side, yeah, the shadow and the light projections onto the cards appear to be looking normal. Yeah, so this is what the fix are. So for this part, there will be no test instructions needed for this sections. But if you want to try it on your end, if you are having any OBJ models, you are feel free to do so. Yep, so moving on to the next topic, which is the drawing tools related. So this one is regarding the advanced selection tools causing a crash in CET. So developers has made a fix to the crash when using advanced selection tool. So previously there was a reported crash when users tried to filter the selections by using specific categories. You can see there in the selections criteria dialog. Yeah, so this initially will cause a crash when you do so. So on your end, we highly encourage trying out the advanced selection tool again with your manufacturer extension to ensure the fix is working perfectly on your end. So as what we recommend you guys to follow to check is that open the advanced selection tools from the tools menu and then make a conditional selection by first one using the selection criteria. Ensure by toggling different categories, tag, levels, creates an accurate advanced selection within the 3D. And the second one using selection query, make sure the query can be created by using different conditions and also ensure the advanced selection created is accurate. Yeah, and also lastly, with any advanced selection that is created, ensure the record in selection history can be retrieved by simply clicking on it and then cross-checking the selection made in the drawing space. So when you select the history, you should remember what was the selection you made and highlight the correct snappers in 3D. Yeah, and all this should work fine without causing a crash. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this one is related to paper space. And then the first thing about this is about using low precisions for detailed drawing. So normally when working with larger scale drawings that consist of large floor plans, racking systems, specifically those with a lot of details from product text, dimensions, annotations, and markings, it is usually rendered as thick line or even show as a black object in your PDF report, especially when it is zoomed out. So this is in order to fit the entire drawing into a single PDF printout. So let me show you the screenshot. Yeah, so on the left side, it is how it will look like right now. So the lines will appear thicker. This will happen in the PDF report. Yeah, it will show correctly in Paperspace, but after it is printed out, it will show as a thick line. So in CET 14.5, the enhancement that has been made to this is the generations of the PDF will now be using floating points instead of integers. Yeah, this is to improve the positions and also to improve the line visibility of the printouts. Yeah, and as a result, the lines right now it shows are clearer and it is working well when it is zoomed in or zoom out. So when zooming out, it won't result in a thicker line in the printed report. Yes. So when you are testing, please do pay attention to this few steps that we are trying to recommend here. So the first one is to create a moderately sized drawing by including floor plans, CADs, preferably consisting of fair numbers of tags, markings, codes, etc. And then in paper view, generate a PDF printouts and make sure that the correctness of the details should be accurate and no longer show in thick lines when compared to the printout generated in previous versions. And then also verify that the details of the drawing are visible and did not disappear comparing to the actual drawing in drawing space or in the view clip. All right, move on to the second part for the paper space related. So this is an issues with loading the paper, which is a .cm_ppr into this paper space. So previously, there were an issue where loading paper, which is in the CM_ppr file format, directly by clicking on the load paper from file button. Yes, that this little button here that's being highlighted. So this one, it results in nothing is loaded into the paper space. Yeah, so users are unable to load their manufacturer's paper template into the paper space. So this is fixed in the CET 14.5. Yeah, so to try this out or to test this on your side, do make sure that if your manufacturer extensions comes with any paper template, try loading any new or existing drawing with papers into CET. And also make sure that when copying or creating new papers work as it should. And also try to ensure that in the view clips and viewports, the snappers are shown accurately without any issues. Yeah, so try to make sure that it loads correctly, and also all this should be working as well. Yeah. Okay, next one, I believe this is the last change I have on my end. This is regarding changes in the bill of material, which is some change in some update in the package count and the sieve export. So when using configure sieve export, it will now export the part number that have a package count using the code NT in the exported sieve files. So you can see that right now, if you enable package count and then export it as configure sieve, package count will have the code NT in the sieve exported. Yeah, it is good to check if your manufacturer's extension is using package count feature with your developer. Yeah, so our recommended test steps are to perform the auto export of configure sieve in bill of material and verify that the code NT is shown in the exported sieve copy. So comparison can also be done by verifying the count and by enabling package count column in the article view settings. And also ensure that your manufacturer specific tag with informations are shown correctly in the exported sieve document when you're having the use manufacturer specific export checkbox tick. Yeah. All right. So next, we'll move on to the new features. So for the CET 14.5 new features, I will cover two of them. The first one is related to measurement units, and the second one is again related to bill of materials. All right, first one related to measurement units. So this one is regarding show and hide dimension unit in style editor. Yep. So in the view of conflicting measurements unit for users, especially them working within a collaboration environment, the options show distance for dimension 2 is a drawing white setting. So this may be checked or unchecked for many different users. Yeah, hence this will inflict some inconsistency with these different users placing dimension strings, which will result in some of the units showing and some does not. And beside this, also affects the kitchen user as they are favored towards the units. So in CET 14.5, this feature will be changed to be part of the dimension style and will no longer be a drawing white setting. Yeah, so this is to contribute to a more uniform experience across a collaboration project. Yeah. So on the screenshot shown here, this is the checkbox settings that will be changed. Yep. So it will be renamed in 14.5. So right now it will read as show metric distance unit for rulers. Yeah, and not dimension tools anymore. Yeah, as this will be moved to style editor's dimension. Yep, so the one on the right hand side will be the new text or the new features. Yeah, so this will only work for rulers. Yeah. Yep, and I will show a screenshot for style editor. So yep, there will be a new checkbox adding in here, which is show metric unit. Yeah. So right now this settings will not be a global drawing white settings, but will only be a user settings, user preference, in other words. Yep. If you wanted to try this out, if you're having your new build ready, yes, with your old new or old drawings with existing or any new dimension strings, try to make sure that the dimensions are still produce an accurate measure. And to show or hide the units will now be controlled in the style editor dimensions. And also ensure that with show metric unit check in style editor, the metric unit will always be shown with the measure according to the unit set in the distance unit in control panel. And also make sure that the show metric distance unit for rulers, it no longer affects dimension strings, but only applicable to rulers. Yep. All right. The next new feature is related to bill of materials. So this one is we have a new sequence in the article view. So previously, when using CET with manufacturer's extensions with registered article views, there's no fixed sequence as to how different article views are sorted. So this leaves the bill of material cluttered as users try to find for the main articles and wanting to have a quick customized view and comparison. So as you can see in this screenshot here, this is actually the new way of how it is sorted. I will show in the next slide of if you have a lot of a few manufacturer extensions installed and you have created several article views, what will be the sequence for the article views right now in the new CET 14.5. Yeah, so the sorting logics that are put in place in CET 14.5 is that, yeah, when you have manufacturers A and B installed with an extra article created, so it will be sorted by this way. So the main article view will always be on the most left side in the calculation window, and then followed by any customization or manufacturer's article view. So you have two, it will show manufacturer A, then manufacturer B. And then followed by the usual article view. And then if you create a new one, it will show behind this. And then if you have a copy, it will show at last or the most right. So this is the order or sequence of how it will be categorized in the CET 14.5 inside the calculation dialog. Yep. So hopefully this will let all the users it's more as it will let them find the article view that they are looking for more conveniently. Okay, so what to look out for on your end for this? So to ensure that this is working on your side, so using your manufacturer extensions, and if they are registered article views, ensure that the sorting logic works accordingly, following the example in above in the bill of materials. Yeah. And in the registered article, verify that the columns are not changed and the part number or part description pricing are still the same as before. And then try to create or copy the current article views and make sure that they are sorted correctly according to the sorting logic shown just now. And ensure that the visibility is still customizable by hiding or showing specific columns or custom sorting in the article view settings. Yep. All right, so this is all I have from my end. So I will pass it to the next host, Brian. I will stop sharing.
Okay, thank you, Gihu. I will start sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, I'm Brian, and I'll be starting with the second half of the presentation. Okay, let's go through the changes on extensions that I have on my end. The first one would be elevation view. Then we have something related to DWG and CAD, safe load related, and lastly, material related. Now, first one would be elevation view related. There is a reported issue from the manufacturer extension where there are extra lines that are generated where the users compare between different CT extensions. Now, this may not affect all manufacturer extensions, but there is an instance where it came from a report that we received. So in CT 14.5, developers have fixed this. So it's very important to make sure that it does not affect your manufacturer extension. Now, by looking at the test instructions, in your manufacturer extension component tab, if you have a manufacturer feature of elevation view, you try different layouts for your manufacturer products, verify in 2D space, and make sure that it has nothing abnormal, no anomalies. Now, if you want to go a mile further, you can verify the precision and accuracy by using dimension tools. You could snap it on one end, the start and the finish, just to make sure that the height is the same as what it is shown. Now, if your manufacturer elevation view has a feature of showing height and width, just to make sure that the measurements of the rendering is correct in correspondence to the actual product snapper dimensions. Now, if you don't have elevation view in your manufacturer extensions, feel free to try out the elevation view in symbol library extension. Okay, next up, we have something related to DWG, CAD related. Now, in this reported issue, the user doesn't seem to be able to change the CAD layer's color. Now, this only affects some DWG files. It's an intermittent issue where the CAD layer color refuses to change. As you have imported the CAD into this CAD dialog, then you put it into CT, and you click on the CAD layers tab. You want to change the different colors of the CAD layers. It refuses to change. Now, this only affects DWGs that are imported as floor plan. And we highly recommend trying out with your desired CAD, just to make sure that this fix works for you. Now, by looking at the test instructions, open CAD dialog, okay, import and insert your desired CAD file as a floor plan. Now, if you click on CAD properties, you should have a drop down here. You should have an option for you to import the CAD as a 3D symbol or a floor plan. Now make sure it can be inserted into the drawing successfully. Then verify the correctness. Okay, this is sort of like a smoke test just to make sure that the CAD file that you're importing to CT, it is accurate. Now, if you have a CAD viewer, something like AutoCAD, you can use that to check, cross-check against the one in CT, just to make sure there are no missing lines or entities. Then you go to CAD Layers tab, you change the layer's default color. Now you should be able to change, right? Now with that, you can also try hide and show layer, which is this one, the first column of the checkboxes. Now if you hide and show the layers, it should retain the color, all right? The updated color in the layer. And you can also try save and load drawing just to make sure that the layer color that you have changed is retained and it can be changed again in the CAD dialog. Okay, moving on, we have something related to save and load. Now, export PDF CAD path, which is this one, PDF and CAD path. If you set it to same as drawing, it doesn't work. Now, to recap, this is in control panel, and you click on advanced, and this is where you can see your save paths that you can configure. Now, saving installation documents and reports generated in PDF and CAD previously does not work with the option that is set to save at same as drawing. So for PDF and CAD, again, if you set it to same as drawing, it doesn't work. But now that we fixed that, and it should always respect the save location as the drawing if it is set to same as drawing. Now, if we look at the test instructions in control panel advanced, with the default or custom location set for save location for new drawings, okay, which is this one. If you have like a default or custom file path that you have set, ensure that it always follow the same path as the drawings if it is set to same as drawings. Now, for further verification, you click on the option buttons. That will pull up a dialog, and you can cross-check the location paths, just like this. All right, if you click on these three option buttons, it can show you where is it directed to in the Windows folder. Now, make sure they are directed to the same folder, just to cross-check that, okay, hey, it's the same path as the drawings. Now, changing path for the save location for exported PDF and CAD, it will overwrite. Okay, now if you want like a custom file path, you can change that. You go ahead and change that, then it'll be different from the save location for drawings. Now, if you click on the chain icon, then it will reset to the default, which is the same as drawings. Now, this is like the smoke test to make sure that the site functionality still work. Using your CT drawing, you can try generating a PDF or exporting CAD and verify that these outputs are really safe to the configured location that you have set in the control panel. Okay, material related. Now, developers, they push a fix to address a reported issue where some customer-owned materials, it can be overly shiny in both real-time and renderings. Now, just to recap, this is how you can configure your comp materials. And this is how it looks like when it is overly shiny. This is how it looks like. This is the defect right here. Now, you would not want your fabric finish to be layered with plastics, for example. So it's very important to follow these test instructions for using your manufacturer extension snappers with customer-owned materials. You try changing to different materials in the quick properties scheme manager. Make sure they look accurate in terms of color, tone, and texture. Okay, emphasize in 3D, and you should also emphasize in 2D. If you change the color of the material, then in 2D it should also change. But in 3D, make sure that the texture is accurate. If it's leather, then it should be leather texture. If it's fabric, then it should be fabric texture. Perform a rendering and ensure the materials still look as accurate and they don't look like this for a fabric material. They don't look overly shiny. Now, this applies to all types of material. It's not only for fabric and also leather. Just giving examples. Save and load new existing drawings just to make sure that no unintended visual changes happen. Everything should show the accurate material and not something that is abnormal. Okay, so that's all for the changes on extension. So let me walk you through the new features in CT 14.5. Okay, so there are two new features in save and load related components. First off, we have info page. Now, this is a new page that we've created, all right? So previously in CT 14.0, you have something called drawing properties. If you click on it, this is what it will show. It shows the location of the drawing that it is saved, and you can change your password. You can change your state of the drawing. You have different values when you click on it. Now, this button has been removed in CT 14.5, and the sole functionality will be moved to the newly developed page here. So, sorted first, you have this new info button, which actually houses all of your information, summary of information, along with convenient access to your drawing functionalities with ease. All right. Now, in this page, you can now copy path, open your file location, set a password, set your state, and you can also have like a glimpse of your drawing properties, your information here. And this is what you will see in CT 14.5. Now, moving on to the test instructions. Using your drawing, it's really important to make sure that these functionalities still work. In the info page, we've actually moved the functionality from the drawing properties to the new info page, but it's very important to make sure that it still works. Now some of these functionalities include open file location. Make sure it works by opening a separate Windows folder. Pull out a dialog, show you where it's directed to. Protect document, which is to save a password. Set your states, and also briefly check the information and make sure it's correct. Moving on, we have a new autosave dialog. Now in CT 14.5, again, there'll be a new dialog that shows all relevant information on backups and autosaves. Now this dialog can be opened by clicking on View Backups and Autosaves, which is a new button under the File menu. Now in this new dialog, users can actually retrieve their autosaves and also the backups grouped by drawings, and as well as getting a sneak peek of what's in the variations of the autosaves and backups. So let's say the users, they have like 5 copies of autosaves and backups. The users can go through each and every one of them. Go through each and every one of them just to make sure that this is what they want to retrieve, by looking at this preview. Now, this preview pretty much shows everything from your from your imported CAD in your drawing, and also your models that you have imported in your drawing. It shows pretty much everything, and the users will get a preview of the autosave and backups that they have clicked on it, just to make sure that, hey, this is the exact copy that I want to retrieve. And here shows the information of the autosave and also the backup. Now, the key features include comprehensive summary of autosave and backup details, which is the details right here. Basically, that all you need to know. A new preview placeholder, like I've mentioned. A collapsible section listing group by drawings. Okay, so you have like different drawings, you can collapse and you can scroll through different drawings that houses both autosave and backup revisions of the drawing. Test instructions. Ensure that the new autosave dialog can launch by clicking on View Backups and Autosave, which is a new button in CT 14.5. When working with your drawing in CT, ensure that the autosave and backup information can be retrieved. Right? If you click on Open, then you should be able to retrieve in CT. It should load in CT. Now, each revision of autosave and backup should load into CT. Briefly verify the details and also the preview. Ensure it is accurate and relevant. Okay, that's all for the new features of CT 14.5. Before we end today's session, I have a reminder for core schemes retirement and also performance. Now, as you may have heard, we're in the works and discussions of retiring the old core schemes as early in Q4 of 2024. Now, if you're seeing this in your manufacturer extensions, that means you're safe. You have migrated to prop scheme dialog. Now, for those of the manufacturer extensions, now I know this does not affect like all of the manufacturer extensions. This only affects like some of it. Now, for those manufacturer extensions that are still using core schemes, we highly encourage you to migrate to use prop schemes as soon as possible, as we are phasing out core schemes really soon. And after you've migrated to prop schemes, from core schemes to prop schemes, and what do? We've actually created a prop scheme testing guide. Now, this is especially for those who have migrated from core to prop schemes, and we want to make sure that, hey, these are the items that you should look out for after you've migrated to prop schemes. I'll show that later. But if we're in the midst of migrating from core schemes to prop schemes and you need help, please feel free to contact devsupport@configura.com if you have some migration difficulties or obstacles. Now, let me show you how the prop scheme testing guide looks like. Okay, so we have created the guide. It's for those who have newly migrated to prop schemes from core schemes, and this is what they should look at. The main functionalities. A very good first check is to ensure that your scheme is still intact. Let us walk us through the main functionalities. Now these are some test cases that you can follow. And this also mainly focuses on the new features that you can find in the prop schemes that are not in the core schemes. All right. I will not show all of it. I believe you really have access to it. I've already posted in the QA community briefcase. All right, let's go back to the slides. Now, as with each migration, performance plays a very important role that affects CT experience. So as we add more and more features in the latest CT versions, we take strict consideration in terms of performance. So we want to make sure that performance is not affected on your site. Make sure that you're not affected. This is just some basic checklists that you can perform just to make sure that performance is still good on your site. Now, basic checklists. Please turn off unused extensions, and that results in faster CT loading and startup. You can also run some basic memory leak test by using Task Manager. This is how you can launch it. Look for CT Designer. Make sure that the memory consumption is not maxed out. It does not take all memory that you have in your computer. If you want to compare between old and new CT, you can do so just to make sure that the performance is still good in the latest version. And you can also use Response Monitor under QA Tools. Now, for those of you who doesn't have QA Tools license extension, feel free to install in Marketplace, or you can reach out to QA support at configure.com, and we will help you out with the QA Tools license extension. Now, in the QA Tools license extension, Response Monitor, it's a very useful tool, and you can use it to trace your time taken in CET. You can also compare between old and new CT versions. Check these time differences in this area. Now, these are some basic areas that you can start with, just to make sure that they are not slower in CT 14.5. Now, if you have performance hiccups, please report to DEX support at configure.com, and they'll be happy to help. Okay, I think that's it. That's all we have for the CT 14.5 migration. With this webinar, we also encourage you to go through the 14.5 QA testing guide that we've created, because this webinar, we only briefly walk you through these test cases and these different areas. There'll be a lot more information in the guide, so we highly encourage you to visit and have a read up. So let me show you the QA 1.5 testing guide. Okay. So please go through, because there will be some tips and tricks that we've included, and that will help you out in your testing. Yep, I think that's it. We also have migration workshops. Again, as with any major releases, we have an open session that discusses over development and testing concerns. If you have any, you can come in and ask questions. And for QA side, we will be going through the latest changes in the QA testing guide, if there are any. And it will be held each Monday from October 2nd to 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be 4 consecutive Mondays starting next week. I think that's all I have here. Do you have anything to add on top?
No, I do not have any more informations. Yeah, so do we have any questions from the participants regarding what we have presented? All right, I think we can take that as a no. Yep, so Brian, I think we can end this session.
Okay, I think that's all for today's QA testing guide webinar. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.